Hey coin collectors, and welcome to DC Coin World International Coin Channel. And today we're going to take a look at the 1960 half penny coin from the United Kingdom. This is, of course, the first portrait without the Brit Omne. In other words, it does not say Brit Omne or Queen of all Britons on here like the 1953 version did. And of course, it was only the 1953 version that said Brit Omne on it. So what does this one say on it? Well, it says Elizabeth II, Dea Gratia, Regina, F.D., Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen and Defender of the Faith. And if we look at it, and let's actually blow this one way up. And you notice this one looks a little different than the other ones. This one has not been used much, but I think it's actually been cleaned. And look at the marks on here. So this one, when you clean it, you get this kind of funny color to it. And you notice this one here clearly hasn't been cleaned. This is the back. So let's look at the front and see what the difference is. Okay. So in this one, you see these lines here. That's usually a sign that it's been cleaned, simply because the lines aren't normal for the for this particular coin. They weren't built in there, and when you see this kind of scratched up, it probably what's happened is somebody got it and cleaned it, because we do see kind of other wear marks all around it. So if you get one of these and it looks like that, it's not going to be worth more. It's probably going to be worth less to collectors. And then let's look at this one down here, another one that's been well circulated. All right, so let's take a look at the back of them. And again, we see this actually is kind of nice on the back in the sense that it has a lot of detail here. And so by cleaning it, they did bring this out, but they really kind of ruined the value. And it's not a huge value. We're not talking about a very valuable coin. You could probably get it for 50 cents or less. And with shipping, you can definitely get it for under $1. So if you really want the 1960 British half penny, you can get it very cheaply. In United Kingdom, you can get it, probably maybe get it for 50 cents. If we look down here, we see an HP. We'll talk about that. We see the flags and banners up here. We see this kind of setup of the 1960s. So let's look on this coin, just because, look at that. That's just amazingly nice there. I'm using my new the iPhone 12 camera, and there's a lot of differences in it, so you have to kind of adjust to it. But the HP here is for Thomas Humphrey Paget, who was the engraver of the back of this coin. It says half penny at the top. It says 1960 here, and you notice when you look at this coin that the front has the beads, but the back does not have the beads. The back of this coin essentially has these geared edges. And so these are not beads that got smushed. These were never beads. This is a kind of a geared edge on the back. And here's what I'm saying. So you see the beads on the front, geared edge on the back, and this is the smooth edge coin. This coin weighs about 5.67 grams and is about 25.4 millimeters in diameter. It's a bronze penny, and they first started making it in 1954, and they made this one until 1970. Of course, in the later years, they didn't make them for circulation. So if you get a 1970 version of this, it was only made for proof coins. So from 1967 on, they didn't make circulating versions. In 1967 they did, 68, 69 they didn't, 70 they didn't, but they did make a proof coin. All right, so one of the things that's really interesting to people sometimes is this idea of the half penny. Now in the United States we never had a half penny. In Canada they did have some half pennies, but in the United Kingdom and Britannia they had a number of half pennies. And so let's look at some from another country here. Now let's look at this one. Look at that one. That's a Jersey half new penny from 1971. And of course, what that tells us is we have the three lions supine, or lying down. That tells us that this is after decimalization. And of course, in Britain, they had decimalization too. So they moved from the penny or the half penny to the new penny. And I'll show you one of those in a few minutes. So there's Jersey. And what's on the front of the one from Jersey? Well, of course, this is the second portrait of Queen Elizabeth II wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara. Then here is the, Guernsey. So let's get this one set up. All right, and you can tell it's Guernsey because it says Guernsey right here. Bailiwick of Guernsey in Latin. And there's another one. And then if we tip it over, we see that this is the half new penny, also from 1971, the year that many of the Commonwealth countries, including the United Kingdom, went to decimalization. Here's a weird one. It's a Cyprus, half piastre. And of course, Cyprus was part of the United Kingdom. And then this is the 1949 version. And guess who's on the front of this one? Queen Elizabeth's father. And let's look right down in here. And we can see the initials, the engraver of this coin also. And that's Queen Elizabeth's father facing to the left. Do we have him on the actual United Kingdom halfpenny? We sure do. Here he comes. And there he is, George VI. And so this is George VI, Crown George VI, and this is from Cyprus, and this is George VI from the United Kingdom. And this is, of course, the halfpenny. And there's, guess who did this one? The same person that did the back of the halfpennies, Thomas Humphrey Paget. And if we look way down in there, we can see the HP right underneath the neck of George VI. And of course, look at this. It's not from United Kingdom. It's from Australia. Who knew? George Kruger Gray. It's the jumping kangaroo halfpenny from 1951 from Australia. And of course, we have the PL, the other engraver here. What else do we have? Let's get a real George VI. Can we tell the difference between the Australian one and the British one? All right, so this one is from the United Kingdom here, and how can we tell? Because we just turn it over like that, and I should have done that in the first place. So what's the difference? The Ind Imp? Well, no, because the Ind Imp ended in 1948. So when India became independent, they took off the Imperator or Emperor of India. So in 1948, Australia would have had the Ind Imp on it also. So it is George VI, Brit Omnirex, King of all Britons, Defender of the Faith. And you do see, though, something, and that is that the HP is a little different, but that's mainly from wear, not from a different design. And if we go to the back, we see the same Humphrey Paget halfpenny. There are some variations in here. Some of these coins with the waves and whether they're calm seas or stormy seas. And what does that mean? Well, if we look at this one, we see the seas are a little bit more wavy or stormy. This one, they're a little bit more flat. Who else did the halfpenny? Well, guess who? Edward VII. And again, Imperator of India, Omnirex. And this had the Britannia. So Britannia had the halfpenny on it until we hit 1937. And then we went to the Sir Francis Drake's schooner. So there's Britannia holding the trident shield, the waves out here. This is the 1906. Who else had one? Here's George VII facing, right? There's a 1902. It's George V facing to the left. And that, of course, is the 1918. And let's see who else. Oh, that's just a beat up one. Look at that one. Oh, that's not from the United Kingdom. George VI, King Emperor. Where's this one from? Any ideas? Oh, it's the New Zealand halfpenny. It's in 1947. So there we go. George VI, King Emperor. So he's king of the United Kingdom, but he's also Emperor of India. And we see that it's the same Thomas Humphrey Paget, just with different writing on the outside. And then, of course, this Maori symbol from New Zealand. And last but not least, here's another half penny. We know this is really old because it has the lighthouse and the ship on it. So in the older ones, there's a ship here and a lighthouse on the Britannia. And guess who's on the front? One of the older ones. It's Queen Victoria. And so this coin here has a hole in it, but I just love it anyway. It's probably worn as a bracelet in 1884. And then there's one other Victoria here. And you can see that this is a 1862, again with the ship and the lighthouse when Britannia ruled the waves. All right, so that's our 1960 with a few friends. Again, remember, don't clean these if you want to sell them or trade them with a collector because they won't like the cleaned ones. If you want to be able to see everything on it, you can do that, but my advice to you would be just get a better quality one, and that might be the way to do it. All right, let's get out of here, Cypress. And so that's all we have today from the DC Coin World International Coin Channel. We'd love to have you subscribe to our channel and leave any comments you have in the comments section.